Do you want to learn English and hear a story that changed the world? Today, we'll talk about a man who asked a big question. Where do we come from? His answer changed science forever. His name is Charles Darwin. He was not a strong student. He loved nature more than books. But he became one of the most famous scientists in history. How did that happen? Stay with us to hear his journey from a curious boy to a world-changing thinker. And don't worry, we'll use simple English to help you learn while enjoying this amazing story. Chapter 1: A Curious Boy with Big Questions. Charles Darwin was born in 1809 in England. As a child, he loved nature. He liked to walk in the forest, watch birds, and collect bugs. Books were not his favorite. His father wanted him to become a doctor. But Charles didn't like blood. He didn't enjoy school much, and he often got bored during class. Instead of studying, Charles spent time outside. He loved to ask questions like, why do animals look different? Or, why do plants grow in certain places? People around him thought he was strange. Some said he was lazy. But Charles was just curious. He didn't want easy answers. He wanted to know why. This curiosity would later help him change science. But at that time, no one knew what this young boy would become. Not even Charles himself. Chapter 2: A Voyage That Changed Everything. When Charles Darwin was 22 years old, he got a chance to travel the world. A ship called the Beagle was going on a long journey. He was invited to join. At first, his father said no, but later he agreed. Charles packed his things and got ready. He didn't know it yet, but this trip would change his life. The Beagle sailed to many places like South America, Africa, and islands in the Pacific. Darwin saw animals and plants he had never seen before. In the Galapagos Islands, he noticed something strange. The birds on each island were a little different, but they all looked like the same kind of bird. Why did the birds look almost the same, but not exactly? What made them change? These questions stayed in his mind long after the trip ended. Darwin took many notes. He drew pictures and collected samples. He didn't have all the answers yet, but he had a lot of clues. The voyage lasted 5 years. When he came home, he started to think deeply. He looked at his notes again and again. Something big was coming. He didn't know how to explain everything yet, but one thing was clear. Nature had a secret, and Darwin wanted to find it. Chapter 3: The Big Idea, Evolution. After the voyage, Darwin stayed home and worked in silence. For many years, he read books, studied animals, and wrote his thoughts in secret notebooks. He began to see a pattern. Animals change slowly over time. Some changes help them survive better. These animals have more babies and pass on those traits. This idea was new. People believed that all animals were made just as they are. But Darwin thought life was always changing, little by little. He called this idea evolution by natural selection. It means that nature selects the animals who are best for their environment. For example, if a bird has a strong beak, it can find food more easily. It lives longer and has more babies with strong beaks too. Your time when primary school, Ellen, is a mile and every element is in its forest. And your time when Ellen is learning more, new points of tension are exciting. Where have you been? Ellen is one of the finest vegetables. In a garden, when birds have a garden table. Your Ellens, when birds win their tails, you even protect their eggs. If your bird has a strong beak, it can find food more easily. It lives longer and has more babies with strong beaks too. Fairy tale, wild world, a garden table, one magical garden, and all of it is welcoming. As you enter these wonderful fairies, and the world around you, filled with new perspectives. Ah, the nature of the Northern Hemisphere. And then coming, you'll know it's not instantly. Over many years, small changes can make big differences. One kind of bird could become many different kinds. This is how new species are born. Darwin knew this idea would shock people. He waited more than 20 years before publishing his book. But when he did, the world couldn't stop talking about it. Chapter 4: The World Reacts. In 1859, Charles Darwin published his book called On the Origin of Species. It explained his ideas about evolution and natural selection in simple words. Many scientists were shocked. Some agreed with Darwin. They said his idea made sense. But others were angry. They thought he was wrong and dangerous. At that time, many people believed that all life was made by God and never changed. Darwin's idea was different, and it scared them. Some newspapers laughed at Darwin. They drew him as a monkey in cartoons. They said, "This man thinks we came from animals." But many young scientists were excited. They began to test his ideas. They saw that Darwin's theory helped explain many things in nature. Darwin didn't fight with people. He stayed calm and focused on science. He believed that truth would win, even if it took time. Over the years, more and more people accepted his idea. It started a new way of thinking about life, science, and where we come from. Chapter 5: A Legacy That Lives On. Charles Darwin died in 1882. He was 73 years old. People from all over the world came to say goodbye. He was buried in Westminster Abbey, near other great thinkers. Even after his death, his ideas lived on. Scientists kept testing his theory. They found new facts that supported his work. His big idea became the base of modern biology. Today, we understand more about DNA and genes. These discoveries show how living things change over time, just like Darwin said. His name is now in science books, museums, and schools around the world. There are even animals and plants named after him. Darwin taught us to ask questions and look for answers in nature. He showed that even a curious child can change the world with a big idea. He didn't start out as a genius. He was just someone who loved to learn and never gave up. That's why his story is so powerful. And now you've learned his story in English. You practiced reading, understanding, and thinking, just like Darwin. Keep learning, and who knows, one day your story might inspire the world too. The end. Thank you for watching and learning with us. Today you learned about Charles Darwin, the curious boy who became a world-changing scientist. We used simple English so you can enjoy the story and improve your English at the same time. You did a great job. If you like this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll bring you more amazing stories to help you learn English in a fun way. Remember, learning a language takes time, just like Darwin's journey. Stay curious, keep practicing, and never stop asking questions. See you in the next video.